Did you know the history of Formula One is riddled with manipulation, sabotage, and jaw-dropping deception? Beneath the roar of engines, the glitz of the podium, and the glamour of champagne showers, you'll find dirty secrets so outrageous they could rival the plot of any Hollywood thriller. Some call it cheating, others call it genius. But one thing is certain, F1 teams will do anything to win. Stay with us to uncover the scandals that nearly destroyed the sport, and get ready for a thrilling race through the most shocking cheating stories in F1 history.
That was mega!
The 2008 Singapore Grand Prix was the first night race in Formula One history, an event designed to dazzle the world. The city streets glowed under floodlights. Fans packed the stands, and the sport basked in the spectacle. But behind the glamour, a scandal was unfolding that would stain the sport's reputation for years. During this race, Renault driver Nelson Piquet Jr., a young man fighting for his very future in the sport, was given an extraordinary instruction. Crash. Not race. Not push harder. Crash. The order came not from an engineer under pressure, not from a strategist desperate for a gamble. It came from the top. Flavio Briatore, team principal, and Pat Symonds, Renault's engineering director. The crash was to happen in one place, and one place only, a section of track where recovery would require the safety car. And why? Because Fernando Alonso, Piquet's teammate, had pitted earlier than the rest of the field. The timing of the safety car would vault him into contention, and it worked. Piquet smashed the wall, the safety car came out. Alonso, nowhere seconds before, found himself on top of the world, and he went on to win the race. For Felipe Massa, comfortably leading until that point, it was a disaster. A chaotic pit stop saw him drive away with the fuel hose still attached. His race unravelled. His championship dream weakened. At season's end, he lost the title to Lewis Hamilton by 1 point. 1. It wasn't until a year later that the truth emerged. Piquet, cut from the team, revealed the plot. The fallout was seismic. Briatore banned for life, later overturned. Symonds banned for 5 years. Renault given a suspended ban. And the sport left with a question. How far would teams go? How low would they sink to win? Now, before we dive deeper, if you're enjoying this look into Formula One's biggest scandals, do me a favour, tap that like button, subscribe for more wild F1 breakdowns, and drop a comment below. Who's at the top or the bottom of your list? Just when you thought orchestrating a crash was as wild as it gets in Formula One, let's shift gears to a scandal that reads like an espionage thriller. What if you stumbled onto your rival's secret game plan? What would you do with it? In 2007, Formula One was shaken by a different kind of scandal, one that played out not on the track, but in team offices and backrooms. Dubbed Spygate, it involved McLaren's possession of a staggering 780-page confidential dossier belonging to their fiercest rivals, Ferrari. This wasn't just a casual glance at a competitor's car. The document contained every intricate detail of Ferrari's design philosophy, technical setups, and strategic plans for the season. It was like holding the enemy's entire war strategy before the battle even began. The file had been passed to McLaren's chief designer, Mike Coughlin, by a disgruntled Ferrari employee. When the FIA discovered the breach, the reaction was swift and uncompromising. McLaren was slapped with a $100 million fine, the largest in sporting history, and stripped of all points in the Constructors' Championship. The financial hit was devastating, but the damage to the team's reputation was even worse. The scandal also detonated McLaren's driver lineup. The tension between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, already intense due to on-track rivalry, exploded under the weight of the controversy. Alonso eventually left the team, and team boss Ron Dennis, a towering figure in McLaren's history, stepped down from his role. What might have been remembered as one of the most competitive seasons in F1 became instead a cautionary tale of espionage, betrayal and ruin. Now let's go further back to the 1994 season. A year already laden with tragedy from the loss of Ayrton Senna at Imola. And yet controversy piled upon heartbreak. The championship came down to a showdown between Michael Schumacher and Damon Hill. Schumacher led by a single point heading into the final race in Adelaide. The stakes could not have been higher. The winner would take the title. Midway through the race, Schumacher clipped the wall, damaging his car and slowing his pace. Hill saw his chance and went for the overtake. But as he did, Schumacher turned in sharply and the two collided. Both cars were out of the race instantly, and that was it. Schumacher, his points advantage intact, was champion, his first world title. But was it clean or calculated? Did Schumacher turn deliberately, sealing Hill's fate? Or was it the heat of the moment, two cars, one corner, and physics making the decision? Decades on, the debate rages, but in that moment, one truth stood tall. Formula One's greatest prize had been decided not by speed, but by collision. And if you thought Schumacher's crash was controversial, wait until you hear about Benetton's cheeky secret software code. As if the 1994 season hadn't been controversial enough, Schumacher's team faced another storm. Here's the scoop. Benetton's cars had a hidden launch control feature buried in their software. This little gem helped cars start perfectly, giving them a rocket-like boost off the line. The catch, launch control was illegal that year. While the FIA confirmed the existence of the code, they couldn't prove it had been used in competition. Benetton claimed it was leftover programming from earlier development, kept dormant in case the rules changed. However, they took their sweet time handing over the complete source code when the FIA asked for it, which only deepened suspicions. In the absence of definitive proof, the FIA imposed no penalty, and Schumacher's championship stood. But for rival teams and sceptical fans, the incident added another layer of doubt to an already controversial season, and the whispers of cheating followed them for years. Now, rewind to 1981, and Formula One was still adapting to new rules aimed at limiting ground effect aerodynamics. Colin Chapman, the brilliant mind behind Lotus, responded not by following the spirit of the regulations, but by rethinking the entire concept of a racing car. The result was the Lotus 88, a twin-chassis marvel. One chassis carried the driver and engine, focusing on comfort and stability. The other was dedicated purely to aerodynamics, generating immense downforce without subjecting the driver to the bone-rattling ride common in ground effect cars. To some, this was pure genius, but to others, it looked suspiciously like cheating. The other teams weren't happy. They saw the Lotus 88 as a threat and protested fiercely, fearing the Lotus 88 would obliterate them on track. The FIA initially approved it, but under relentless political pressure, they banned it before it ever turned a wheel in competition. It remains one of Formula One's most fascinating what-if stories. A legal car, in the letter of the law, destroyed by the politics of the paddock. Next up, 2005. Bar Honda, a team desperate to move up the order, was caught pulling off one of the sport's boldest weight-cheating tricks. The regulations required cars to meet a minimum weight after a race, including fuel. Bar Honda designed a hidden tank that allowed the car to pass inspection with unused fuel on board, meeting the weight requirement. On track, however, the car could run lighter and therefore faster by consuming the main tank while leaving the hidden compartment untouched until post-race checks. For a time, it worked, but FIA inspectors began to notice suspiciously close weight margins after races. A deeper investigation revealed the hidden tank, and the verdict was swift. bar Honda was banned for 2 races and stripped of all points earned up to that point. The embarrassment was devastating. What might have been remembered as an innovative, if risky, season became instead a case study in how a clever trick can backfire spectacularly when the regulators catch on. Across decades of F1 competition, one pattern emerges. The line between genius and cheating is impossibly thin. Is it innovation when you discover a loophole? Is it cheating when you exploit it? Is it brilliance when you risk it all for a shot at glory? Or deceit when it all comes crashing down? Formula One is not just a contest of drivers, but of engineers, strategists and schemers. It is a game of chess played at 200 miles per hour. And in this game, sometimes the boldest move is also the dirtiest. Each scandal has left scars. Each has reshaped the sport. And yet, they all whisper the same truth. Formula One is about more than speed. It's about ingenuity, risk, ambition, and sometimes a willingness to go too far. So when you watch the next Grand Prix, remember, behind the roar of engines and the glamour of Monaco yachts, someone somewhere is already plotting the next great scandal. Because in Formula One, the race never ends. Not on the track, not in the rule book, and not in the shadows.